What's going on? Brian Tong here, and welcome to the Apple Bits for everything good and bad inside the world of Apple. And this is my WWDC 2022 preview for the keynote. It happens on Monday, June the 6th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and it will be a live stream event. Look, Apple even put up a new placeholder with a graphic on their YouTube page, and I will actually be at Apple Park in attendance after Apple invited me for the first time as an independent creator. And I really just want to say thank you to all of you who continue to watch my videos and listen to my podcast and everything I do, because honestly, you are the reason why I'm going to be there. So I'm still hoping to still do some type of live stream from inside Apple Park, but we're gonna have to see if that comes together. But hopefully there will be a peek at new hardware at this event. We just don't know. I honestly have no idea what is actually going to be announced because Apple doesn't tell anyone. But to me, this is an exciting WWDC because this is really an event where we don't know exactly what to expect, and it's better to be surprised, believe it or not. So there's so many rumors and potential things that we could see. So let's just start off with the biggest rumor, and that's the chance for us to see Apple announce and reveal the new MacBook Air with a new M2 chip inside. Now, going into this, it's the most likely hardware announcement, according to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman and others, but supply chain issues are still bringing uncertainty that maybe we'll see it, maybe we won't. Now, we've seen an early render and leaks that show off what we might expect, but if there's any hardware at this event, there's a good chance it's gonna be the new Air. Now, we're expecting an all-new redesigned body that looks like a slimmed-down version of the current MacBook Pro. Reports also claim it's been modeled after the 24-inch iMac with these off-white bezels around the display with a matching off-white keyboard and potentially different color options similar to the 24-inch iMac and aligning it with their more consumer-friendly product lineup. Now, the new Air is expected to also get a notch for the camera and a slightly larger 13.6-inch display. That's 0.3 inches larger than the current MacBook Air, but still smaller than the current 14-inch MacBook Pros. It's not expected to include a mini LED display or ProMotion, and it will keep costs down by using an LCD display. And I know we've been calling it the M2 MacBook Air, but this Air could possibly launch with an M1 chip inside, or it could be a new version of the M1 with updated cores, or they could really just be saving it for a more substantial M2 launch for the all-new Mac Pro or a future Mac. Look, we still aren't sure. Now, it's highly likely the new Air will also get a 1080p webcam, a MagSafe charging connector, and 2 Thunderbolt 4 USB-C ports. One other thing to note, which could mean something or not, if you look at out of all the M1 Macs available online, so we're not including the M1 Pro, M1 Max, or M1 Ultra, but the current M1 MacBook Air is the only one on Apple's store with any shipping delays at the moment. So low inventory sometimes aligns with new products coming, but not always. And I called this new Air, I kind of called it at the end of last year, this would be the product of the year for Apple in 2022 once they release it, because what can really top a second generation MacBook Air with an all-new design made for the general consumer and potentially coming in colors at a more affordable price? Like, I'm excited about the chance this might appear even if it doesn't. So that's the big hardware we could see. There's really nothing else on the radar for this event. You know, you talk about AirPods Pro 2 or a new Mac Pro. That's gonna be later this year, along with obviously the normal iPhone, iPad, and Apple Watch upgrades. But there is one thing that we might get a sneak peek at, and that's realityOS, which is reportedly the operating system for Apple's first AR VR headset. Now, I know this is a reach, but we do know that Apple recently showed off the mixed reality headset to the company's board. So this is the furthest along in its development cycle that we have heard up to this point. Signs of realityOS were spotted in Apple source code earlier this year, and then a recent trademark for realityOS recently surfaced just a few days ago. But even that doesn't mean we'll be seeing it. It might have been a coincidence with its timing near WWDC more than anything else, but is there a chance that we could see a peek at something related to Apple's first AR VR headset? Sure. I mean, there's always a chance, but it's pretty unlikely. And I wouldn't expect to see an entire polished presentation for the headset. I mean, that really feels like its own event. Also, multiple reports are now pointing to early 2023 as the earliest that we'll see it. Now, for me, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10 for intrigue, you know, I'm about a 9, and I'm really curious to see what Apple's going to do. But if you're talking about actual excitement for me to open my wallet and for them to give me a real use case, I think I'm really more at like a 3 or 4 until Apple shows me its vision and how it's going to really fit in my life. Why do I really want to use this? Especially, you know, you got that rumored $2,000 to $3,000 price point. Because compared to what else is out there in the market, you got the Quest 2 and the upcoming PSVR 2, which is leaning in hard to gaming. I just don't see this first-gen Apple headset doing much right now, and they're gonna really have to make a convincing argument for me to throw down that kind of money. And maybe it shows their direction for the future of where they want to go with the rumored next-gen augmented reality glasses, but I'm cautiously optimistic right now. So those are really the big two surprises that we could see. We might see one, we might see none, but that's why we're going to be watching the WWDC keynote on Monday. Now, we also know we're going to get updates to all of Apple's operating systems. You know, I've already talked about in other videos how iPadOS and WatchOS, those are the two that I'm looking to make the biggest leap after a very lukewarm showing last year. Like, I didn't use my Apple Watch any differently with WatchOS 8 at all, and I still love my Apple Watch, but you know, it feels like it's pretty much plateaued until new health sensors arrive. Apple's iPhone, though, it always brings arguably the most important updates. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman reports iOS 16 will introduce a number of changes that you've seen on Android phones for years, like lock screen wallpapers with widget-like capabilities that will also display information. iOS 16 will reportedly also have built-in future support for an always-on lock screen for the potential iPhone 14 Pro. Yeah, we haven't seen those before either. So something, you know, that he says it was originally planned for last year's iPhone 13, now making the cut this year. The Messages app will also reportedly get more social network-like functionality, particularly around audio messages. I'm gonna have to wait and see what that ends up being before I get excited about it. We also look at iPadOS. That's expected to bring changes to multitasking again and windowing this year, but still no word about any connection between the iPad and pro-level Apple apps on the Mac. We can all dream, but I've given up on that after, hoping for almost 5 years now. WatchOS 9 potentially is gonna bring new improvements to the UI that affect its day-to-day operation and navigation. We're also expecting maybe new refreshes for existing Apple Watch faces and a new low power mode. That could be helpful, but you know, I'm still hoping for better built-in sleep tracking. No word if that's gonna happen yet. And then we have the Health app found on the iPhone. That's not expected to get a version for iPadOS or macOS, but new health features are rumored to come to the Apple Watch. Now, macOS 13, that will reportedly overhaul the system preferences to make it more similar to iOS's Settings app. We've already seen what they've done with the menu bar that looks like Control Center on your iPhone. And then also individual settings will be organized by apps, similarly to iOS as well. And more importantly, what could they name macOS 13, right? Apple's been known to name macOS after California parks. We've had Monterey and Big Sur, but the rumor is that macOS 13 could be called Mammoth. And I know that's the sound of an elephant used in front of a mammoth, but I use it anyways. Like, let's just be a little creative here. So these are just a few of the things we've heard about the new OSs, but I always love WWDC because there's a lot of these software updates that will work across multiple devices that are new or older devices. Okay, not all of them, but a lot of them. And it's always exciting to get new toys to play with on our devices. And if we get a new hardware announcement, look, to me, that's just icing on the cake. Now, if you want me to go with my gut without knowing what we're really gonna see, I think we're gonna see the new MacBook Air. Obviously, we're gonna get all the new OSs, and I don't think we're gonna see any headset reveal of any kind, but that's what I'm thinking going into this. Now, I'd love to hear what you think, what you wanna see first. Put them in the comments, you know I'm reading. And remember, you can watch all my content and coverage from the event right here on my channel. I'm just gonna cross my fingers that I can bring something to you all live from inside Apple Park if it all works out, because that would be really cool. All right, that's gonna do it for this video. If you like what you see, give me that thumbs up, subs up, and hit that notification bell, ding, to get all my latest videos when they drop. And if you want more of that Apple goodness, you can check out my weekly Apple Bits XL audio podcast to get the latest deep dive with all these stories and new ones every week with special guests. Thanks again for watching. Take care and be safe, and I will see you on the next video from inside Apple Park. Peace and love.